Lemonade, Mama of 9, my story of my girlhood grit led me to be Mama of 9 plus some, 3 by birth and all grown up, 6 by my adoptive heart that I was born with, 10 nurtured by me, some too little to remember, my foster babes, 25 students that I have this year in my K1 class, plus the many more that I have had as students, some all grown up now too. To my stepchildren, also known as my heart children, that I have had, sorry for the loss and I miss you. Those that know my story have encouraged me to share. Here she is. From the time I was a babe, I was a little mama. I would mix baby powder with water to make baby food, and I nurtured my dolls as if they were real. A mama in the making. My life was not easy. Sad, really. With an adverse childhood experiences score of 9, it set me up on a life of early survival. From perpetrators on my tiny body and parents in the depths of addictions, I wanted to die. I climbed out on a roof at 7 years of age, wanting to jump to my death. Adults listened that day and eased me to climb back in that window. I have mourned that girl. I understand that girl, and I'd be terrified to get on a roof presently. My girlhood grit, God's mercy, and an amazing 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Tucson, set me on a path that paired survival and thriving. If Mrs. Tucson knew how horrific my trials were that year, I am sure she would have done even more for me. Her kindness and inspiration led me to the same career path. For that, I am eternally grateful. With only one teacher in the mix to do so, though, that's wrong. Earning a teaching degree with 2 babies on my hip and a loveless marriage where pregnancy took the lead with only a completion of the 9th grade was challenging. In fact, I had no idea I could attend a university until a counselor from a junior college told me so. The college system was foreign territory. The sibling set I was raised in was simultaneously real, half, step, and not one of us a high school graduate. All of us were riddled with anxiety attacks starting in our teens and beyond. Myself in informal foster care at the age of 14. My mom and I had just escaped one night to a friend's house that I had just met because we had just moved yet again. My stepfather, in his drunkenness, tried pouring a large boiling pot of water on my mom. In this new friend's home, that night the burning bed was on television. I had never seen anything like it. I had experienced really bad violence at my home, but I had never seen anything that I could watch and relate to. That movie gave me the strength to give my mom the ultimatum of me or my violent stepfather. She chose him. I stayed that school year with my new friend and her mother, was a single parent, seeing my mom only once. My goodness, my God, and thank you to that woman that gave me that home. Thank you. There were several adults in the mix with birth, step, a new step, another new step, another new step, another new step. I could go on a couple more steps. And not a one setting a legacy for us other than destruction of self. Last year, right before the start of our school year, my brother passed away from an alcohol overdose. Despair filled my heart, but not my surprise. He had been drinking at an early age, having had his stomach pumped in the 6th grade. Upon his death, I sat not being able to move my body for 2 hours. Grief, sadness, church sisters coming to be there in my need, so appreciated. In 2018, I earned my master's in education while teaching and finalizing the adoption of my 2 young nephews. They had been with me for 3 years since they were 1 and 2. I was spent. I was ready to relax and just parenting and teaching and without being in the master's program, and I was presented to myself, by myself, with a sibling set of 4 that needed a home. One of them was a student of mine, and I was already certified with being the parent of my nephews. I have now had the amazing sibling set for over 3 years, and I am now in the process of their adoption. 6 babes in my care. Thank you, God, for my strength, for my compassion to take on something bigger than self. The emotions and labor of love are too intense to really claim the word to, so I hope you can feel it in my words. When I took in the sibling set, I had a darling home that was too small for all of us. At that point, my daughter was still at home, her final year and a half of high school. Both of us sacrificed our time with just us. We were both sad, but knew what we needed to do. She is now in an honors program at the same university where I graduated and from where I earned my teaching credential. The same university where my now grown sons have earned their degrees. My children, you have been my pure blessings. Legacies building. Thank you for being darling children and beautiful adults and alongside my rodeo. I know it has not been easy. My daughter is serving as a chemistry tutor and has done so since her freshman year in college alongside her professors. And she is assisting in a lab alongside other professors with the studies of diabetes. I was cautioned by a few for taking in so many children when I had my daughter to still raise. Look at her now. I am so proud. She loves her younger siblings. The backstory and the voice of God were so loud when I took in the sibling set. Who was I? Why me? Without detail on paper and voice, I was not the right woman for the job. But in spirit and grit, yes. I found a large home to rent, double payments of rent and a mortgage until my home sold. Not fun, but necessary. When COVID hit, our rental was very expensive. We live in California. Had horrific internet and we tried our best to distant learn. With my 6 kiddos and myself distant teaching, we moved last summer so that we could be productive this school year. Tried to anyway. Paying double payments again, this time even more devastating financially and emotionally. Weight gain, tired, frustrated. My school just entered hybrid learning, and the blessing has been that 5 of my 6 kiddos come to school with me. The isolation, though, of my one high schooler has brought me angst. He has not thrived in the setting, as I am aware that many have not. Tear hopelessness with, you can do it, you can do it. I feel like I'm limping to the finish line of the school year. Without the gym, which was my health and emotional connection, and without going to church, my spiritual well-being, I have suffered. I have needed to help support the families of my students while struggling myself. I have had the parents break down during Zoom conference. This has been hard. I am saddened by the divisiveness of our nation. I've always been so proud to be in this country where I could keep building on self. The system does try to help. I had food stamps. Yes, they were embarrassing to use. I had Medi-Cal, yes, free birthing for my first 2 babies, and silver crowns put on my teeth and later on the teeth of my nephews. People know you're poor when your mouth has silver. Assistance from programs, but in no way a way of life. Thank you, America, for helping me help myself. I want others to help without lines of creed, color, and economic status. Humanity first, please. I am worried about the many children I know I cannot house anymore. I have a beautiful life, so messy. I have my own divorces, my own sins, yet triumph. I feel like I have done my part, my legacy. I pass it on to mine. So show and practice tenacity. I encourage those to build their own legacy. I am transparent in my story for which I hung my head in the past. May some part of it encourage you or someone you know. Any donation will help me purchase a forever home for my family and help me afford the opportunity to parent my children without having to work and do both. I would also like to help my daughter in her college pathway as I know her studies can help others in the future. I would also like to pay off my student loan that I acquired before taking on the set of 4. I am surrounded by love, by work, and by joy. And the book is in the writing. I'm trying. I want to invite you to visit www.lemonademamaof9.com. Again, www.lemonademamaof9.com. If you would like to learn more about our precious family, I look forward to meeting those of you that visit our site. Love, Nancy.